Hello guys, Oscar Hotel 8, Sierra Tango November here from Survival Tech Nord. You're going to have to forgive me for the long introduction, but I think it's time that we tie everything together. For about half a year now, you've seen me preparing for deployment in the solar-powered field station. You've watched me as I've learned to stay warm and comfortable at 65 degrees north in the winter. You have also seen me become more proficient with voice and data communications, as well as putting together a portable power strategy for the solar-powered field station. But now it's time to introduce you to something you haven't seen on the channel before. I believe this is going to become a critical component to group communications in the field, and definitely an interesting tool that you may want to learn about and deploy with yourself. We're talking about HF APRS using APRS Messenger. Here's just a few reasons why you might want to use HF APRS over traditional APRS on VHF. The most obvious benefit is the greater range. With increased range, we don't require as many eye gates. Truly off-grid position reporting for those beyond the nearest VHF eye gate. Off-grid messaging and keyboard-to-keyboard chat. Modes for greater throughput or for greater range. Complete integration with APRS IS. And something very unique to APRS Messenger is the weak signaling QRP capabilities for messaging over MFSK4. Now this is going to be a long one, but I hope you stick around and learn something about HF APRS and weak signal messaging with APRS Messenger.
You are listening to the Emergency Broadcast Systems. This station broadcasts emergency news and official information on the air for assigned narrative.
So the demonstration I'm going to show you today is messaging using MFSK4 and APRS Messenger. The messaging happened between Mike 0 India Alpha X-Ray and myself, Oscar Hotel 8 Sierra Tango November. This exchange between Mike 0 India Alpha X-Ray and myself was completely impromptu. We had just received a new version of APRS Messenger, which included MFSK4, a weak signal mode similar to FT8 in many ways. We had previously tried MFSK16, but that was at slightly higher power levels. If successful, today's testing would open a new era in weak signal messaging using HF APRS. Now I'm sorry to say this is probably going to be quite a boring video, however, it's also going to be very informative. So I hope you don't mind me treating this video more like a presentation. I'll offer my dialogue along the way and tie things together. So right now I'm receiving a message over MFSK4 from Mike 0 India Alpha X-Ray. We consider MFSK4 the slow lane in HF APRS. It's still possible to simultaneously receive other modes in the fast lane, but it was important to make that separate slow lane for weak signal communications. The yellow flash indicates an incoming message from Mark, who says he's reducing power. I'll reply to let him know I received his message at 10 watts. For the moment, I won't change my output power. To reply to Mark, I click his call sign in the heard list. That'll propagate his call sign into the send message to box. Then I'll type out my message in the message box and press enter to send. You'll have to forgive me, I forgot to enable the monitor, which is why you can't hear my transmitted audio. I do enable it later on, allowing you to hear both sides of the transmission. As this goes out, I'll tell you why I'm so excited about this mode. The thing about HF APRS with APRS Messenger is it simplifies group communications. So consider this for a moment. We use HF APRS as a coordination tool. We use it to bring all of the stations together on a single frequency so that we can interact through messaging with one another. Once we have the HF APRS network up and running with our group, we can use it to initiate other modes of contact with the rest of our group members. That might be email or some other mode offering greater capabilities. One of the things you should pay attention to is the fading of the signal in the waterfall. Although we have severe fading from time to time, we're still able to effectively decode the message coming through from Mark. This is the whole point of MFSK4. Well, the simple truth is there is no one-size-fits-all mode for operating at 1 watt, 5 watts, or 100 watts. Higher throughput is almost undoubtedly going to require more power because it takes more bandwidth. By utilizing multiple modes, we're able to give the operator the opportunity to choose the best mode for the type of communications he or she is trying to achieve. Remember, it doesn't matter how fast your communications are if the message never gets through. Now we've received another message from Mark, who told us he's dropped his output power down to 5 watts. This explains the fading in his signal, but it also shows us the weak signal capabilities of MFSK4. So now I reply to Mark and let him know, fine business, yes, it worked. I received his message. So now I've also reduced my own output power down to 20 watts. So let's see how it works out between Mark and myself. While we wait, I'll just touch on one point. Developers tend to focus on a single mode, for example FSQ or FT8, when in actuality we require a variety of different modes, or at least baud rates, for varying conditions. It certainly is awesome to be able to throttle it up or throttle it back depending on conditions and output power. While we're waiting for this exchange of transmissions, why don't we take a look at Mark's station? Mark is on the southwest coast of the UK, and usually the station I have the best conditions with. So Mark received 20 watts, saying it was actually good. I'm going to shoot back an outstanding to him and let him know that I'm happy with the results. To my surprise, Mark started fading to the point where I thought we would not be able to have effective communications anymore. In fact, if you wait until his transmission finishes coming in, you'll see that I incorrectly assumed that we weren't going to decode his message. I couldn't have been more wrong. Let's wait and see what Mark says. So Mark's message came in, and he actually said he's decoding me well, and he had dropped down to 2 watts. I think what happened here was I was focusing on screen capturing this transmission rather than watching the screen, so I didn't see the yellow flash until now while I was editing. But that's still a good thing. I mean, there were some times there when we actually could barely hear the signal, but couldn't see it in the waterfall. So again, I'm still quite astonished. Obviously, this is going to be a tough one to decode, but let's see if we actually get Mark's message. Now, this is pretty freaking incredible, to be honest with you. I didn't think it would decode at all, and we could have continued with 2 watts. That's actually astonishing. Now, Mark hasn't seen this video yet, so I hope when he does, we can get him to interact in the comments. And we have a new message from Mark. This is actually incredible. I mean, even at 5 watts to have effective communications between us, and we're 2 stations 2,200 kilometers apart from one another. In fact, Mark is just about dead center in my skip zone. Alright, let's fire off another reply to Mark and wait for his response. Okay, it's important to explain why I didn't cut this video down and make it shorter. And the reason is I wanted you to see in real time how we interacted, how we engaged with one another over MFSK4 and HF APRS. So once again, it's important to point out we're only demonstrating the weak signal capabilities of MFSK4 under APRS Messenger. We also still have the other modes available to us, like PSK63, PSK250, MFSK16, GMSK250, and so on. So in the best case scenario, after watching this video, I'm hoping operators will also start to wave the HF APRS flag. Let's not fall for the one mode fits all scenarios trick. The importance of utility modes like this increases every day, and so does the need for effective off-grid or grid-down communications. Since Mark and I made this video, additional work and effort has been put into the development of APRS Messenger. The weak signal capabilities of the current version are superior to the weak signal capabilities of the version we used to make this video. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you that HF APRS should replace a variety of different tools. What I am trying to convince you of is HF APRS's potential as a tool for group communications in a grid-down scenario. If nothing else, give it a try with your group and let me know what you think. Alright guys, let's lock it down. If you like the content I'm creating, if you like what I'm doing with the channel, please consider leaving me a comment or a thumbs up to let me know. Also, if it's not too much to ask, please share this video with someone or somewhere where people might enjoy it. Rock and roll, guys. Thanks for watching.